My name is Magda. I'm a videographer, I work at America's Test Kitchen, and I have an insatiable sweet tooth. And while I'm not a pro, I've learned a few things about baking and dessert making since I started working here. Show-stopping confections may look intimidating, but if I can do it, anyone can. So let's do this together and make some dessert. The desserts I love most are 1, easy, and 2, bursting with fresh fruit flavor. This cake is both of those things, and while it may look unassuming, its flavor is anything but. Layers of delicately fragrant cornmeal cake, a ring of sunny Apricot-Bay Compote, and a lush topping of fresh whipped cream and chopped pistachios. This is the cake that impresses everyone I know, and I can't wait to show you how I've learned to make it. I've got 2 9-inch cake pans that I've already greased with cooking spray, and now I want to line them with parchment. I'm going to give them one more quick spray, just to be safe, and a fine dusting of flour. I'm just going to tap lightly around the edges of the pan to make sure the flour is evenly distributed. This is just extra insurance that my cakes won't stick to the pan when I turn them out. And now it's time for what I think is the most important ingredient, the cornmeal. And toasting the cornmeal really helps bring out that nutty, and for lack of a better word, corny flavor. So I've got 2.5 ounces of cornmeal. This is finely ground, not medium or coarse. I think medium or coarse would produce something similar to cornbread, but I haven't tried it. Just swirl the cornmeal around the pan. I'm not looking for it to really change color. I just want to be able to smell, basically the smell of popcorn. Transfer the cornmeal to a bowl and let it cool. It's time to bring out my flour. I've got 5 ounces of flour here. And yes, I'm weighing pretty much all of my ingredients for this. It's really important that I'm as exact as possible, just to be sure I'm following the recipe exactly. Give it a whisk. Now it's time for a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and a full teaspoon of baking powder. Gonna whisk this again, just quickly, just to make sure all of those ingredients are combined. And now for my wet ingredients. Just ignore that vanilla, I don't need it just yet. I brought it out for I don't know what reason. But I've got 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, that's 5¼ ounces if you're wondering. Trying to get as exact as I possibly can. 6 tablespoons of butter that I've melted and cooled earlier. It's important to remember to do that step. I usually forget and then have to scurry to do it later. Got an egg here, and yes, I'm breaking it right over the bowl. I like to do that sometimes, but I am going to separate my egg yolk over this tiny little ramekin. This is 3/4 cups of whole milk, that's about 6 ounces. Again, I'm just going to whisk to break up these eggs as best as I can. Making sure that the mixture is very well combined. I don't need streaks of egg in here. And now, just to get this started, I'm just gonna get my whisk ready in the flour and start swirling the egg and milk mixture into the bowl. Gonna really put some elbow grease into this. And now it's time to portion my batter into the cake pans. In my opinion, the best way to make sure that my cake layers are the same thickness when they come out of the oven is to weigh the batter in each pan and adjust the amount accordingly. So I'm gonna do my best to eyeball about half into the first cake pan. I'm gonna spread it just a little bit. Now for the second, using the rest of the batter in that bowl, hoping that they're going to be just about the same. That first one was about 11 ounces. That one was about 12. I'd like them to be a little more evenly distributed than that, so I'm just going to borrow a little bit of batter from the first cake pan and transfer it to the lighter one, just like that. And that should get us just about there. And that looks like we're okay. I'm going to try and spread this batter into the cake pans as fast as possible, because if I don't, I'm going to have a really hard time making sure it gets to the edges. It'll also start to lift up the parchment paper. Some batter could get under the parchment. That makes for a really sad situation. One last shake, and off to the oven but they're gonna bake for 14 to 16 minutes at 350 degrees. In the meantime, time to work on that Apricot-Bay Compote. I've got a cup of apricots. They're whole right now, but I'm gonna halve them. Just about 2 at a time. I don't think you can buy these halved. And even if you could, I think this part is really relaxing. It doesn't take very long at all. Use the back of my knife to transfer this to a small bowl. And those can just hang out for a bit while I bring out my cooktop once again. I've got a medium saucepan. I'm gonna add a cup of water, a teaspoon of vanilla, finally, time for that vanilla, and 3 tablespoons of honey. I'm not using the one that comes from the bear this time, even though that would be totally fine. Any kind of honey will do. Give this a whisk. Just so that honey dissolves, I'm gonna bring up the mixture to a boil. But whoops, forgot to add those bay leaves. And now I can bring it up to a boil. Once I can see that all of the honey is dissolved, the mixture is nice and hot and bubbling, I'm going to add those halved apricots. I'll let this come back to a boil. Should take about 3 minutes. And then I'm going to reduce the heat to medium-low and simmer for about 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, it should look something like this. Now I can remove those bay leaves and transfer this to my food processor. Now it's time to finally turn this mixture into compote. I'm going to process for about 2 minutes, taking a break every once in a while to scrape down the sides of the canister, make sure the blades are connecting with every bit of that apricot mixture. Once or twice during the 2 minutes, but after it's processed for a while, it should look like this and have this consistency. Nice and spreadable, no chunks of apricot, which means it's going to spread really evenly across my first layer of cake. Speaking of which, those cakes have baked for about 15 minutes. I let them cool on the wire rack for about 10 minutes. Now it's time to turn these out. Just by touching them, I can tell they are perfect. They spring back a little bit when I touch them. Just gonna do a little flip. I'm not super experienced, as you can probably tell. I have dropped many a cake before. It looks like I did a pretty good job with this first one. I'll quickly remove that parchment paper. And time for that second. Rethink that and bring out my wire rack again. Turn it out. Nice and safe. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Once again, removing the parchment. And now I can give it a little flip. And there she is. Look at these cake layers. The cake is nice and golden and a little brown around the edges. Just what I was hoping for. While those are cooling the rest of the way on the wire rack, I can make my whipped cream. So I've got a cup of heavy cream, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a tablespoon of granulated sugar. I'm gonna whisk. Doing this by hand, I made sure to chill my bowl and even my whisk before I started this process. I do my best not to over-whip this. As soon as I find that hand whisking helps me avoid over-whipping. This is about what I'm looking for here. There's a little bit of resistance to my whisk, otherwise looking nice and billowy. Pistachio time. The recipe calls for 3 tablespoons, but I love pistachios. So I'm just kind of using a big handful here. Whatever I don't use for the cake, I'm just going to snack on behind the scenes. So don't mind me if you hear some crunching. And I really like salted pistachios here. I think they add a nice balance to the overall sweetness of the cake. I'm the kind of person who puts way too much salt on their chocolate chip cookies. So naturally, I'm going to use salted pistachios for this. Now for my cake stand. It's finally time to decorate this cake, and before I do anything else, I'm just going to slather a little bit of the compote. This is just to prevent the cake layers from sliding around as I build the cake. Alright, using all of the apricot mixture here. dolloping directly into the center of the cake. I love this color so much. It's so nice and sunny and brilliant. It's really easy to spread, as you can tell. It's just gliding onto this cake. I'm rotating the cake stand about a quarter turn as I move my spatula along. You can smell it's a little herbal. It's nice and sweet and bright. It's going to be so delicious with the cornmeal and the whipped cream. Top layer goes on. I'm going to do my best to make this as even as possible. Obviously, I did the work. I weighed the cake layers. I've got my nice offset spatula. I feel like I'm in a good position to make a really nice, neat, rustic cake. Neat and rustic, if that's possible. I'm really going for height when I decorate cakes, so I'm going to try and keep the whipped cream as localized to the center as possible, and then I'm going to spread gently towards the outsides of the cake. I really like my swirls to be loose and cloud-like. This is looking really nice. Time for those salted pistachios. Really just want a light dusting. Oh, this looks so amazing. A nutty, lightly sweet, rustic cornmeal cake with Apricot-Bay Compote. Dense and satisfying, not at all heavy, and maybe even a little bit floral. It's my favorite cake without traditional frosting. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.